Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are undertaking, well, a truly metaphysical journey.
Uh-huh.
We're going to kind of shortcut past the usual debates about, sunken continents and lost tech.
Yeah, forget the archaeology for a moment.
Because the source material we've compiled for you today, it's less about history, much more about revelation, I suppose.
Definitely.
Our entire conversation focuses on the Book of Remembrance, a divine inspiration written by Waxira of the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood.
And it's crucial to understand right from the start, this isn't your standard Atlantis theory.
Not at all. This text doesn't just talk about Atlantis. It uses the whole myth as a blueprint, like a map for human consciousness.
Exactly, a structured map.
So our mission today is really to unpack the core claim here, the central idea in the source material, showing how it systematically takes one of our biggest myths and turns it into, well, a pretty precise guide for self-knowledge, for awakening.
And we absolutely have to start, as you said, with that foundational claim, because it just instantly flips the whole narrative upside down.
Right.
Waxira's framework states it quite explicitly. Atlantis is not a lost island or some ruin under the sea. Atlantis is consciousness.
Wow. Okay. So not a place, but a state of being.
Precisely. And if you accept that premise, even just for this discussion, it changes everything.
How so?
Well, think about it. If Atlantis is consciousness, and consciousness is, well, eternal, then the idea that it sank becomes purely metaphorical.
Right.
Right?
Oh, okay. Consciousness can't actually be destroyed.
It can't. It can only be forgotten, maybe, or dimmed by distraction, by noise, but not truly lost.
Okay, that immediately brings up a big question for me then.
Yeah.
If consciousness is eternal, why does the book spend so much energy on the sinking and this need for remembrance?
Good question.
Are we, listeners, are we currently living in that kind of post-sinking world, a world of dimmed consciousness?
According to the Brotherhood's view presented here, yes, exactly that. The sinking wasn't some geographical disaster in the Atlantic. It was the descent of human awareness, a fall into pure materiality, into ego.
A forgetting.
A forgetting of the whole.
Yes.
Yes. So the book, it's presented not as someone's new idea, not an invention.
But as revelation.
As revelation, the act of recalling that original, shining state of consciousness, it's like a trigger, a mechanism for our collective memory to surface again.
And this connects directly to the author's own journey, doesn't it? Waxira. There's this detail about the name change.
Yes, it's fascinating.
From Waxira to Waxira. It wasn't just a whim. It's presented as a literal sign of this divine inspiration they received.
Right. The X isn't just decorative.
No, it's key symbolism. The text tells us it represents the crossing of two sticks, like a sign of non-duality.
The intersection point.
Exactly. The precise spot where opposites dissolve, where light is born because the poles are reconciled, polarity resolved.
And it gets even more layered. The text digs into the symbolic language, pointing out the letters C.
The third letter.
And X.
The third last letter.
Right. They're presented as representing the alpha and omega, the beginning and the end, hidden right there in our human tongue.
And the text insists this is no coincidence.
Which really underscores the point that these truths, these principles of consciousness, are seen as inherently woven into reality itself, even into how we communicate.
So the X marks the spot.
Metaphorically, yes. It's where the duality that causes the sinking is overcome, the sign that the solution is actually built right into the problem itself.
Okay, so we have the big idea, Atlantis is consciousness, and this foundational sign, the X. Now we need the map itself. And what's really striking here is how meticulously this text is structured. It seems designed to mirror that journey of transformation. It's not just, random wisdom.
No, it's incredibly rigorous, intentional.
How so?
Well, the book contains exactly 39 chapters, and the Brotherhood explicitly states this is a perfect division, 13 times 3. And they emphasize this specific architecture is absolutely by design.
So the structure is the map.
It is the systematic map of initiation that's promised to the seeker, to you, the reader.
Okay, if the structure is the map, then these three sections, the three sets of 13 chapters, they must represent the stages of ascent we're supposed to take.
That's precisely it.
Can you walk us through those phases? Like, what's the focus in each third?
Certainly. The first 13 chapters, they define the journey of what's called the initiate.
The initiate, okay.
This is the grounding phase. It focuses almost entirely on lessons of the body, of matter. How does the physical form work? How do we root ourselves in this world without being, well, enslaved by it?
Right. Understanding the vessel first. Then we move to the next stage.
Yeah.
The next 13 chapters.
That's the era of the Navigator.
The Navigator.
Here, the focus shifts upward, you could say. The body is the ship, sure, but the navigator has to master the mind.
Ah, the senses, emotions.
The senses, the emotions, that constant internal chatter, the noise of thought. It's the crucial transition from just physical existence to achieving mental and emotional mastery.
Makes sense. And then the final 13 chapters lead us to the captain.
Yes.
That sounds like the peak, the culmination of the whole journey. What does a captain of consciousness actually do?
Well, a captain in this framework has moved beyond just the lessons of the body and even beyond simply mastering the mind.
Okay.
This final stage is about actually sailing the vast open ocean of spirit, pure consciousness.
Wow.
The captain isn't just reacting to the waves anymore. They understand the ocean itself as the source of all movement, all manifestation.
So what's the full remembrance?
It's the full remembrance of that original Atlantean state, that unified consciousness.
That's a really powerful progression from the physical route through mental mastery to the spiritual sail.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've got the structure, the skeleton of the map. But any good map needs landmarks, right? Philosophical guidelines.
Mhm.
What does Waxhira offer there in terms of deep context for this journey?
Right. The text offers 3 distinct sections, which it actually calls Gospels.
Gospels. Interesting term.
It is. And they're described as windows into depth. Each one informs the state of mind you need for that ascent we just talked about.
Okay, tell us about the flavor of these 3 Gospels. Like, how does, say, the Aquarian Gospel differ from the Stellar Gospel? What's the focus?
Good question. The Aquarian Gospel is intrinsically tied to water, as the name suggests.
Okay.
It symbolizes the initiate's need for cleansing, dissolving old patterns, renewal. It teaches you how to let go, how to wash away the old self, really, and prepare the vessel, the body-mind, for the journey ahead.
Like a baptism of awareness.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Then, in contrast, you have the Stellar Gospel.
Stellar.
So stars. It literally opens the heavens, points you towards the stars, the constellations, the sheer vastness of destiny. This guides the navigator, reminding them that the path is huge, eternal. It requires both focus, yes, but also humility when faced with that cosmic scale.
Keeping perspective. And the third one, the core statement maybe, the Gospel of Atlantis.
That's the one. This gospel brings the reader right back to the source, directly.
Oh.
It's described as the song of consciousness itself, the ultimate reminder that what was lost can be remembered, what sank will rise, what sleeps must awaken.
So it integrates the other two.
It integrates the huge celestial vision of the stellar gospel with the grounding, cleansing flow of the Aquarian. It brings it all home.
This all sounds, like a very systematic doctrine. You've got initiation stages, sacred texts called Gospels. Yet the sources are really explicit about rejecting religion and dogma. That seems like a contradiction.
It could seem that way.
If the text provides such a rigorous framework, how does Waxhira avoid basically turning the Book of Remembrance into just another kind of external dogma,
Right.
With its own special vocabulary and symbols?
That's a really critical point, and the text tackles it head-on. Waxhira makes a very clear distinction. Religion, the text claims, tends to worship the messenger, not the source itself. And politics, meanwhile, is seen as this sort of foolish attempt to try and still the waves of the infinite ocean, trying to control the uncontrollable.
And both end up.
Both religion and politics are characterized as systems that ultimately divide people and enslave them by directing attention externally to rules, figures, structures outside the self.
Okay, so how is this different?
The Book of Remembrance, conversely, aims to unite by directing your attention inward. Always inward, it's presented as a call to return, not to external temples built of stone, but to the temple of the self, which is consciousness.
So the book just provides the keys.
Exactly. It provides the keys, the map, the symbols, but it doesn't demand you worship the lock or the map maker. The work is internal.
Right. And to help the seeker use those keys, the Brotherhood relies really heavily on this metaphorical vocabulary, the symbolic keys they call them.
Yes, vital.
These seem crucial for navigating that inner temple you mentioned. Let's dive into a few of those key pairs of symbols. They make the journey very vivid.
Absolutely. And they're very maritime, aren't they? Designed to constantly reinforce that journey of the captain sailing the ocean.
Yeah, clearly.
The first pairing is simple, but really profound. You have the ocean,
Which symbolizes.
infinite being itself, the unbroken whole, pure consciousness.
Okay. And against that vastness.
You have the wave, which represents our temporary state, becoming, thought, individual manifestation, here today, gone tomorrow, but still part of the ocean.
Nice. Then you have the symbols for the body and maybe soul or our grounding.
Right. The ship is the clear symbol for the body, the vessel that carries us through this life, this journey.
And its most fundamental grounding mechanism, what keeps it steady.
The anchor. And the text explicitly identifies the anchor as the breath.
The breath, wow. That's actually quite beautiful when you think about it.
It is, isn't it?
For anyone listening who's ever felt completely overwhelmed or just emotionally adrift, it's kind of comforting.
Yeah.
To realize that fundamental anchor, your breath, it's always right there.
Always accessible.
Always inside the vessel, yeah.
And emphasizing the breath as the anchor, it really reinforces the practical side of this initiation. It's not all abstract.
Sure.
The navigator needs reliable tools. So on the surface, you have the compass,
Which is?
the rational mind, logic, giving direction based on known principles, what makes sense.
Sure, need that too.
But navigating the ocean of spirit, well, that requires much more than just logic, doesn't it?
I imagine so.
So we also need the blazing star, which is the symbol for intuition, that inner knowing that guides us when rationality hits a wall.
Right, the gut feeling, the insight.
Exactly. And complementing the star, there's the sextant.
Okay, another navigation tool.
But this one represents inner vision, the ability the captain develops to measure their own position, not against the coast, but against the eternal cosmos, against truth itself.
Inner vision.
Oh.
Okay, and tying all this guidance together, there's one more key system mentioned.
Yes, the bell.
The ship's bell.
Metaphorically, yes. It's the symbol for conscience, that internal sound, that resonance that provides ethical and spiritual guidance, telling you if you're on course or off.
Wow. That's a comprehensive set of tools. Ship, anchor, compass, star, sextant, bell.
Yet, at the very heart of all these symbols, the journey, the tools, the ocean, the star, the text says there lies one crucial, almost terrifying central sign.
Which is?
The whirlwind.
The whirlwind. Okay, that sounds ominous. It marks the exact spot where Atlantis supposedly sank.
That's the connection made, yes, where the metaphysical and the mythological really meet.
So what does the whirlwind truly signify in this whole system? Is it just chaos? Destruction?
It symbolizes that destruction and resurrection are actually one and the same thing.
Wow.
It reinforces the text's core assertion. Consciousness cannot die. The sinking was just a transformation, a necessary step in a cycle, perhaps?
Like a wave collapsing.
Exactly like a wave collapsing, the water simply returns to the ocean. It's still there, ready to form a new wave. From the perspective of the eternal whole, the destruction of the form is almost a non-event.
Okay, I think I get that. The form changes, but the substance consciousness remains.
Precisely. And this understanding leads us directly to the book's really powerful conclusion, its core message.
Which is about eternal truth.
It argues that nothing genuine, nothing real, is ever truly lost. And the text delivers this insight most powerfully, I think, with this quote: "Whatever is dispelled by light never existed."
Hold on.
Yeah.
Whatever is dispelled by light never existed. That's a radical claim.
It is.
If light, presumably the light of consciousness or remembrance, dispels things like suffering or fear or ignorance,
Yeah.
the book is basically saying those things weren't real in the first place.
That seems to be the implication.
But how does the framework reconcile that with the very real physical experience of hardship? Pain and loss feel pretty real.
It's a tough one. The framework seems to suggest that suffering, fear, distraction, all those things we experience are temporary conditions. They're rooted in the forgetting, in the dimming of consciousness.
Like shadows.
Exactly like shadows, cast by an ego that mistakenly believes it's separate from the eternal whole. So once the light of remembrance shines fully,
The shadows vanish.
they vanish, proving, in this view, their ultimate unreality. We are, therefore, fragments, yes, but fragments of an unbroken whole. And we're called to awaken and remember that fundamental unity. That's the remembrance.
Wow, okay. What an immense deep dive we've taken today.
It covers some ground.
We started by completely reframing the Atlantis myth, turning it into the concept of consciousness itself, guided by that symbolic name, Waxira and the X.
Mm-hmm.
Then we mapped out the seeker's journey through that very systematic structure, 39 chapters, initiate, navigator, captain,
The 3 stages.
and anchored that whole framework with those 3 illuminating gospels, Aquarian, Stellar, and Atlantis.
Providing the philosophical context.
Right. It all builds into this guidance system. A structured pathway for self-knowledge, but one that deliberately moves away from any external dogma, focusing entirely, as you said, on the temple of the self.
Always inward.
So as you, our listener, reflect on this journey through the lens of this source material, maybe consider those central symbols we discussed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If the body is the ship carrying you through life,
And the breath is the anchor holding you steady right here, right now, in the present.
then what is the profound meaning of your role? Your role as the captain, the one who has to choose the direction, who has to actually sail that infinite ocean of spirit.
That decision, that conscious navigation, according to Waxira, that is the true meaning of remembrance. It's not just knowing, it's doing, it's being. Something to really mull over.
Definitely something to keep sailing forward with. Thank you for diving deep with us today.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.